Your presence is ruining the mood of this event. Please leave, he sneered. Though he was technically my brother-in-law's father, his words hurt deeply. I had traveled a long distance to attend my sister's wedding, only to realize I wasn't even invited by the groom's family. What's your problem? Just leave already. Having you here is ruining everything, he spat. Realizing that I wasn't welcome, I nodded silently. I understand. I'll leave, I said before stepping outside and calling my husband. What's happening? Why are you there? He asked, his voice filled with concern. I was asked to leave, so I did, I replied, offering no further explanation. What does this mean? He muttered, his eyes shifting to the groom's family, who looked back without remorse. My name is Lisa, and I'm 32 years old. I live with my husband, who is 11 years older than me. The only family I have left is him and my younger sister, Summer, who is 10 years younger. Our father left when I was just 10, and we were raised by our mother alone. She worked endlessly to support us while I took care of Summer. We managed until high school, but eventually the exhaustion caught up with our mother, and she passed away. With no other family, Summer and I had to take care of ourselves. What are we going to do now, sis? Summer asked, fear in her eyes. Don't worry, I'll figure it out, I reassured her, even though I didn't know how. I got a job as a clerk at a small company. The pay wasn't much, but it was enough for me to start over. Over time, I took on more tasks. The boss was kind and supportive. Lisa, would you like to earn a qualification? He asked one day. A qualification? Yes, it's specialized, but we need someone with qualifications, and I think you're capable, he explained. Would this be after work hours? Don't worry, we'll cover all expenses. I'm asking as a favor, he added, his sincerity making it hard to turn down. I agreed, thinking about Summer and her growing needs as she entered middle and high school. Don't overwork yourself, sis, Summer would often say. Don't worry about me. Once you finish school, you can do whatever you want, I told her. As Summer neared high school graduation, she thought about working. I encouraged her to aim for college, but saving for tuition on my salary was tough. I considered switching jobs, and when I spoke to my boss, I was relieved to find he understood. I completely understand, he said. Actually, I know someone who's starting a new business, and they're looking for someone like you. A new company? Yes, don't worry. It's being run by a capable person, and the business is already doing well, he'd assured me. The new company offered similar work, and although it was a bittersweet farewell, I left. I've been thinking of closing soon anyway, he said. You've done more than enough here. After 5 years, his kind words moved me to tears. Don't cry, he said softly. If I make a young woman cry, my wife will scold me. It's better if you smile. With his blessing, I joined the new company. Nice to meet you, I'm Mike, my new boss introduced himself, a 38-year-old with a commanding presence. Nice to meet you, I'm Lisa, I replied. We really needed someone like you, Mike said warmly. You've already been a huge help. If you could handle things at your last job, you'll thrive here. I thanked him, feeling a mix of nervousness and excitement. Soon, Mike's company became my new home. It was a fast-growing startup, and Mike was the driving force behind its success. Despite being a new venture, it was already securing big contracts. I'm really glad to have you here, Lisa, Mike said one day. Your expertise is invaluable, and I'm happy I invested in your training. His words lifted my spirits, and I no longer worried about Summer's tuition or our daily struggles. You seem so much more upbeat lately, Summer commented one morning. Really? I've just been busy, but I guess you're right. Could it be because of someone? She teased. Don't be silly, I laughed. Now go get ready for school. 4 years later, I was 27 and Summer was preparing to graduate high school. She was doing well and aiming for her dream university. Things were looking up. Meanwhile, Mike's company was flourishing, taking on larger projects. His brilliance was evident as the business continued to grow, and I found myself training new employees. How about a trip sometime? Mike suggested. A trip? But my schedule. I'll take care of everything, you've earned a break. Thank you, but it feels like a luxury. Mike insisted. Let yourself relax a bit. You deserve it. As a key member of the team, I spent a lot of time with Mike. Naturally, our relationship deepened, and despite the 11-year age gap, I didn't mind. But there was one thing that weighed on me. Could we wait to marry? One evening while working late in the office, I decided to speak my mind. Mike, I do want to marry you. You're amazing and I love you. But I still have Summer to look after. Once she's on her own, I can think about it. Can we wait until then? I feared it was a selfish request. Mike, already in his mid-30s, might have been ready for marriage by then. Of course. I'll wait until she finishes school, Mike said without hesitation. But when that time comes, let's have dinner with your sister. She should be part of our family too. I was deeply moved by his understanding. From then on, the three of us spent more time together. As Mike's company stabilized and Summer neared graduation, we decided to take a trip together. It was an unforgettable experience, one we hoped would never end. But eventually the trip came to a close. Summer went off to college and Mike and I returned to work. Summer still lived with me as her university was nearby, but I knew we'd be seeing less of each other soon. She told me she wanted a part-time job. Sure, everyone has to start somewhere, I said, though I was still a little anxious. I'll be fine, she reassured me. I've been learning about business management from Mike. I'm ready. Her confidence amazed me. She had grown so much. Then, one day, she shocked me even more. Sis, guess what? She said, her eyes bright with excitement. What is it? I'm getting married after college. I was stunned. Married? Wait, what? She said it casually, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. My sister was serious when she said, I'm getting married after graduation. I raised an eyebrow. Who's the guy? You don't know him. Well, maybe you do. Don't even try to guess, she teased. In the middle of her junior year, she dropped a bombshell. It completely caught me off guard. She had a habit of making random, surprising statements, but this was different. The word marriage stirred up emotions I wasn't ready to confront, especially when it came to Mike and me. Remember the business seminar? She asked. I met a guy there. He's planning to start his own company, and he's a good guy, so I thought, why not marry him? I couldn't help but respond. Marriage isn't something you jump into, it's a major commitment. I wanted to speak my mind about our parents and the mess they caused, but I kept it in check. She looked at me seriously. What about Mike's feelings? She asked. I promised I'd look out for you until I graduate, I replied. You think I can't handle things on my own? I've got a plan for my future, and I've met a great guy. It's time you focused on your own happiness, she said, her eyes tearing up. She added, unless you get married first, it's going to be awkward for me. I guess so, I muttered quietly. Mike and I eventually tied the knot, and the whole company celebrated. Even my first boss showed up to congratulate us, but there was still one more thing left, meeting my sister's fiance's family. Brian, her fiancé, seemed like a solid guy. He was the eldest son of a small business owner. The business will go to my brother, Brian explained. Really? I asked. I've always dreamed of starting my own business. We're planning to start one together, he replied. That's how we met. We've already incorporated. Student entrepreneurship is becoming more common. Though I didn't entirely grasp their conversation as I was an employee myself, I had a good feeling about Brian's family and thought he and my sister made a perfect match. I was thankful to Mike for bringing them together. After that meeting, I still had to meet the rest of Brian's family. I was a little nervous, especially about the business owners, but figured it was only natural since we were becoming relatives. Oddly enough, they requested that I come alone. Lisa, Brian's father greeted when I arrived. I suppose you're here to talk about your sister's marriage to Brian. That's right, I replied, maintaining my composure. Actually, that's not why we invited you, he said, his voice harsh. We're telling you to stay out of this. I was taken aback. What do you mean? You didn't go to college. You lost your parents. While Summer seems capable, you clearly don't. Don't expect any help from us. I don't need your help, I snapped. I've supported myself, and I have a future planned with Mike. Whether or not I retire later is none of your concern. Words are cheap, he sneered. We'll invite you to the wedding, but after that, keep your distance. The people there are far above your station. It would be embarrassing for you to show up. Their mocking laughter hit hard. When Summer marries Brian, she'll finally have a real family, they added cruelly. Let's just hope she doesn't end up like you. Tears started to form, but I kept my head up and excused myself. I'm not missing my sister's wedding, I said, my voice shaky. I hurried home, tears pouring down. I washed my face repeatedly, but the sting remained. Looking at my red, swollen eyes in the mirror, I whispered, I'll never let them see me like this again. Their insults felt like an attack on everyone who had supported me, but no matter what, I was determined to attend my sister's wedding. Watching her get married would be the final step in letting go, in passing the torch. Days passed, and soon the big day arrived, her graduation and wedding. You better come to my wedding, sis, she teased. I wouldn't miss it for the world, I replied, though I felt uneasy about facing Brian's family again. The venue was grand. Guests wore elegant outfits, radiating wealth and status. I felt like an outsider but kept my composure. At the entrance, I showed my invitation, and a staff member escorted me to a private room. As soon as the door opened, mocking voices greeted me. So you really showed up? Dustin, Brian's younger brother, sneered. You have no idea about social cues, do you? You're ruining the prestige of this place by being here, his father added. We invited you, but we expected you to know better. Get security to remove her, Dustin ordered dismissively. The insults kept coming. I stayed silent until they crossed a line. What if Summer turns out like you? Dustin spat. She won't, I retorted, my voice shaking. She's smart, capable, and working hard. She and Brian are building something together. That's nonsense, his father scoffed. Brian will take over our business, not start some side project. They've already incorporated, I fired back. The disbelief was clear in their eyes. Before they could respond, the door swung open. Sorry I'm late, Mike's voice echoed through the room. The family's demeanor changed immediately. Mike, it's been too long. They greeted him, all smiles. Mike didn't acknowledge their pleasantries. Have you seen my wife? Your wife? They echoed, surprised. Oh, there she is, Mike said, spotting me. Why are you standing there? They asked me to leave, I murmured. Mike's face darkened. Why would you ask my wife to leave? She's the bride's sister. The room fell into silence. We didn't know, the father stammered. Explain what happened, Mike demanded. I told him everything. So you insulted my wife and tried to humiliate her? Mike's voice was cold. That's how you treat family. We didn't mean it, they stuttered. Then what did you mean? Mike's glare made them shrink. After a long pause, he continued, I do business with your company, but we're not family. Brian is my friend, but I won't tolerate disrespect toward my wife. I'm ending our business relationship right now. Wait, you can't do that. Brian's father cried. Please reconsider. I won't, Mike replied firmly. Don't worry though. I'll be working with Brian and Summer's new company. They've earned my trust. Shocked, the family realized they had lost both their son's loyalty and a key business partner. Mike turned to me. Let's go, he said, leading me out. The wedding proceeded without further drama. Brian and Summer began their new life together, focusing on their business. Meanwhile, Brian's family faced the fallout of their actions, with their company suffering as a result. Life moved forward. One evening, I placed my hand gently on my belly, filled with a mix of excitement and nerves. When Mike came home, I greeted him with his favorite stew and a big smile. I've got news, I said, guiding his hand to my stomach. His eyes brightened. Really? That's amazing. He hugged me gently. With a baby on the way, our family was growing. Though challenges lay ahead, I knew we would face them together. We were building a loving home, filled with hope for the future.